A very good morning, everyone. Today we'll be going through the part 4 of unit 5th of Farm Financial Records. And in the Farm Financial Records, we have already covered two: farm inventory and balance sheet. Now, this is the third one, income statement. So, let's move on. Uh, Third part, as I said earlier, income statement. What is an income statement? Income statement is also called as a profit loss statement. It is just a statement of total receipts, that is the money where the farmer is getting money from and where is he spending the money. It is a statement of receipts and expenditures, or receipts and expenses, incomes and outgoings. It is made for a period, okay, and made after the completion of a period. Yearly, half yearly, can be made quarterly as per the requirements. It is made after the completion of a period, as I said. It constitutes of three parts. First part is, as I said, total receipts, incoming, total expenses, outgoings, and net income, which is equal to total receipts minus total expenses. So let's revise. What are receipts? Money, income coming by sale of goods produced or items by the farmer. Expenses, the cost incurred to produce whatever we are producing. We might be producing different types of crops, milks, eggs, butter, ghee, anything. If the receipts are greater than expenses, we have a profit. And if the receipts, that is incomings, are less than the outgoings, that means we are in loss. Okay, that's why it is called as a profit loss statement. It shows you profit, whether you earned profit in the last period which you are making an income statement for, or you went for a loss. There are some useful terms to understand this income statement. Gross, I have told you earlier, it is total without reducing the expenses, without deducting expenses. Okay, depreciation is the reduction in value of a machine or any other asset due to use, wear and tear, and obsolescence. I have told you many times. Appreciation is the opposite of it. Okay, it appreciation means increase in value of things with time. The value of a fellow may increase due to it having a female calf now. Okay, as its age is increasing, it is big. The milk production is increasing. Milk production is going up. That's why its value is increasing. The rental value of land. If you are renting in land of somebody to cultivate field, or you are renting it out, okay, for a certain price, for a certain rent, it is called as rental value of land. Okay, if you are taking it in, you will it will be called as a leased in land. If you are giving it out, it will be said as leased out land. Okay, management charges. Wage a farmer for the work wage of the farmer for the work he has done to manage his own farm. Despite you know the physical work he is doing, the money he is putting in, apart from that he is doing the job of a manager. So this management charges are also should be considered, because let's say if a farmer is not working on his farm, he could have used his brains to work on somebody else's farm. That's what in that manner he might have saved his physical work, he might have saved his money, plus he might have worked he had worked for a manager, as a manager in somebody else's farm, and might have earned some money. Okay, so that's why even if he is working on his own farm, we will be using these management charges in calculation of profits and losses. Okay, land revenue. Land revenue is the revenue or tax the government collects from the farmers, okay, in proportion to the number of hectares, number of acres they have. Operating expenses vary with the level of output. These is the money spent on buying inputs for producing our crops. Fixed expenses, if even if we don't produce anything, we have to bear these expenses. I've told you several times what are the fixed expenses. Just can say recollect, and you will be good to go. Now let's see an example of an income statement for the period 2019-20. It is made for a period. Right now we are taking it for a whole year. Receipts, the first part. Receipts, where does a farmer get money incoming from? He gets money from the sale of crop output, whatever crops he is growing. Herein we have paddy wheat crop rotation, sale of milk, sale of from poultry products, sale of seed he might have grown, some gifts from his relatives, friends. Okay, gross cash income, the money he gets in cash is equal to all these things. Okay, plus he gets some other receipts also. He gets some other receipts, that is value of his assets, land, livestock and machinery. Sometimes the value of machinery might increase. Let's rule out machinery. Let's stick to land and livestock. Appreciation in their value, increase in their value, plus interest accrual, because he has given loan to somebody and that person is paying him interest, annual interest, monthly interest, whatever interest he got in the year 2019-20. Interest accrued from that person. Expenses, where the farmer is spending money outgoing. It goes for seed, agrochemicals, fertilizers, FIM, veterinary aid and feed, irrigation charges, electricity charges, machine labor charges, petrol, oil, lubricant maintenance, bullock charges. Okay, his feed, his maintenance, his veterinary aid. I have added these plus, but these are individual items because the list is long. That's why I have just clubbed them here, but you can make a proper list. Okay, interest on the working capital, the money that is being spent by the farmer here. Okay, if he was not doing agriculture, he could have used that money and earned some interest over it. So this much of interest we are charging for as working capital spent for crop production and other productions. Interest payments of crop and term loan, he is supposed to repay his loan in terms of installments of short term and term loans. Short term loans are crop loans, term loans are machinery loans, loans on land, orchard loan, long term loans. Okay, so this is also an expense he is bearing. So the total operating expenses would be the total of all these things. Okay, now income statement, second part of the expenses was depreciation, reduction in value of the assets we have. Land revenue we are paying. If we have leased in any type of land, then we have to include the value. Let's say we have leased in 1 acre of land and we have paid 25,000 rupees for it, so its value is 25,000. Interest on fixed capital, let's say we have a lot of machinery, we have land, we have implements, we have constructed a tube well, installed a tube well, sorry, we have fencing, permanent fencing. So it did cost us money, a lot of money. Let's say it costed us 10 lakh rupees. Generally land is kept out of fixed capital because it is inherited and its value is too much, and it just confuses us because the figure is so big, we are not able to actually get the value of our returns. Okay, so we will keep it out. So 10 lakh is the value, 8% on it, let's say it will be 80,000 rupees. Okay, this much of money invested in these things could have been used for other things. At least it could have been given to somebody else and we would have earned 8% rate of interest. You might be wondering why I'm charging 8% here and 4% here. Money is money, and see, I don't have any fixed record how much of interest should be charged here for different types of records, but definitely in the practicals I'll be giving you an exact figure what is being charged in the scientific calculations of different crops. Okay, sorry, the land revenue, I said it is a tax, it is taxes. Okay, it is not rental value of land is what I talked about in front of land revenue. Okay, rental value when you lease in somebody else's land and pay him some rent. Management charges, farmer, as I said, is also a manager despite the other jobs he has. So the total costs above, 10% of them will be charged as management charge. Okay, Then we will come to total fixed expenses. Okay, now total expenses, operating plus fixed. Net income will be total revenue minus total expenses. If it is positive, that means we are earning profit. If it is negative, that means we are in for a loss. Alright, let's calculate some important ratios from the things we have studied right now. See, remember these ratios have total assets, net worth, total assets. These things are taken from a balance sheet. Okay, so you need to just recollect all the things I have taught you in the earlier lecture to understand these things. Net income, that is gross income, total revenue, gross revenue minus total expenses. Okay, net income, higher the net income, better. Alright, it doesn't mean anything much, it just shows you the profit you have. Rate of return on farm assets. You have invested a lot of money, a lot of capital in the farm assets, and then you have started farming. Alright, so what are we earning out of that investment by investing on total assets? Let's say we have invested 10 lakh rupees on the assets. Okay, assets can be current assets, intermediate assets, long term assets. Okay, I have told you earlier in the balance sheet class. So what does this thing mean? What it means is how much percent return we are getting on this investment. Okay, so let's go with the formula right now. Net income from farm operations minus management charges minus family labor charges into 100%. This is just for converting into a percentage. Let's say we have invested 10 lakh rupees into assets. What is net income from farm operations? Net income from farm operation, it is told here. Income received out of sale of products that we have produced by on our farm minus the operating expenses. Okay, it does not include the interest expenses. We are interest expenses, that means we are uh, percentage interest on working capital, it is not included. Okay, so how much money we are making out of by running our farm as a percentage of total assets. So it will show the percentage profit a farm is generating by investing capital in assets. If the percentage rate of return is 10%, 12%, 13%, then definitely a farmer, as a businessman who is a big farmer, he will think, what is the point of investing this much of money in farming assets and doing farming when I am only getting 6% return? If I just use this money and send it into an FD, I'll be getting 7% return. So what is the point of farming? So this is what it tells. It tells the profitability of your farming enterprise, okay, of your money that you have invested in your farm assets. Okay, now let's move on to the other one, rate of return on farm equity. Rate of return, another percentage rate of return we are talking about. Farm equity is net worth. Net worth is given by total assets minus total liabilities. Okay, the numerator part is same, net income from farm operation minus management charges minus family labor charges into 100 divided by net worth. What does it mean actually? It tells us how fast the net worth is growing. Okay, how fast our net worth is growing. Net worth, what does it include? Total assets minus total liabilities. Assets are of different types: current assets, intermediate assets, and long-term assets. Okay, but herein we are trying to exclude the effect of appreciation in the value of land and machinery. Land comes under long-term assets, intermediate assets means machinery. Okay, machinery, livestock. What we are trying to just see is if our farm operations are giving out enough income to us. It shows us how much part of our net worth is coming from the current income, the regular income that we are generating out of operations, not because of appreciation or other things. Okay, Let's say our net worth is 10 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees, and our net income from farm operations minus management charges minus family labor charges is 3 lakh only. So it will be around 30%. This is a good return. Okay, out of your net worth, 30% is coming from your farm operations only. The rest 70% is coming from intermediate assets and long term assets. Okay, that means your business is running fine. All right. If this if this net income from farm, if this numerator value is very low, if the numerator value is very low, it will be 10%, 5%, 6%. So these figures tell us how much part of your net worth is coming from your current operations. Okay, it excludes the effect of changes in the value of machinery and land and your livestock. Okay, now asset turnover ratio, total assets, and the numerator is gross cash income divided by total assets. Gross cash income, that means the money you are getting in cash without reducing the expenses. It shows that how much revenue is being generated using capital invested. Gross cash income, it is simply the money we are getting, and we are not talking about any of expenses. It simply tells us how much time would it take to get back our money that we have invested into assets. Okay, it's just a percentage of capital invested that is coming to us yearly. All right, but it is gross, so it is not much of an much of use. If we are talking it after deducting expenses, then it is worthwhile discussing. Okay, interest expense ratio, out of the gross cash income, that is the total money we are getting in cash without talking about expenses, how much of it is going for payment of interest. Let's say if the interest payment are only 2% of the total income, 3%, 10%, 20%. Higher the ratio, that means we are into a lot of debt, and whatever money we are getting, we are using it for servicing our debt. Servicing our debt, that means repayment of our debt. Okay, just for the sake of example, Indian government has a tax collection of 22 lakh crores. Okay, and out of this 22 lakh crore, it has to pay around 5 lakh crores as interest to the loans it has taken from different organization. So you can see, out of the total money we are earning, we are paying 40% of it just for servicing the debt we have taken, just for the repayment sake. Okay, so it shows how deep we are into debt. All right, so this was all about the important ratios of an income statement. Now in the next part we'll be discussing a cash flow budget. Thank you for your time.